Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the window trim on a Datsun 280Z. This is the part that fits on the outside, snaps onto the door, the pinch weld at the top of the door, and provides you this nice soft rubber lip. To seal the door. What's unique about these seals is, well, unique, I mean, it's just not a rubber seal. It's actually got some flocking on the back of it here, on the back side that rubs up against the window, so the rubber won't get sucked back down when the window retracts. It won't want to kind of unflop and go backwards. Anyway, here's the old one that came off. Okay, and how I got this off was by using my Dremel, my moto tool, with this thing right here. Okay, and what you do is you go in. Let's see if I can demonstrate this without doing any damage, any real damage. Around. There's staples that hold this piece on. See, there's a staple right there. I don't know if you can see it. My shadow's in the way, darn it. The staple that goes through this metal strip, through the rubber, and into a piece of steel on the inside of this trim. Well, what you do is you take your moto tool and you literally go in here and just trim off the back side of the staple right up against that metal, this inside piece on the trim. Once you trim the staple, the bent over parts over, the metal piece and the rubber will come off. Okay, then what you do is you reuse this metal strip here, this kind of rusty looking thing. And that's going to be reused by sandwiching the new rubber strip you buy. And I got this right here. Okay, this is the edge. It's getting trapped right in here. All right, it gets trapped right there between the metal strip on the outside and the trim piece on the inside. So anyway, the way I did it was I positioned I re-drilled all the holes that were there from when I removed the staple. I drilled with a small drill bit. This looks like a 1/64. And then the staples I actually fabricated using, this is referred to as piano wire or music wire. You buy this at your hobby stores. I don't know what size it was. It's just really thin. It's just a tiny bit bigger than the original staples that were used. Okay, and then I bent this into a U shape, and then I just took the after I pre-drilled the holes through both pieces of metal, I put the rubber in place, held everything together, and I'd run the drill through. What that did is basically drill through the rubber as well, using the original holes that were there as alignment guides. Then I just took the bent up piece of music wire, I bent this up into the right shape, and just pushed it in. The next step, which I haven't done yet, will be get my needle nose and get in there and bend those staple backs, bend those little bits that stick through back. I haven't done that yet because I've been waiting on the arrival of a kind of stapler that might do the same thing with a lot less work. Okay, the idea is I have a stapler coming that's got a very narrow shoe that will fit inside here, and then if that works, I will just abandon this. I'll just drill a hole a little bit, whatever size it takes, and I'll use the staple. I'm just curious. I want to know that I could do this in case that stapler doesn't work. I wasn't sure if that stapler would be able to deal with the steel. What I'll probably do if it's not able to deal with the steel, I could still just drill holes and basically just use a stapler to punch through the rubber part and into the pre-drilled holes. That would work too. As long as the shoe will get in behind there and allow the staple to be bent, that's the hard part. That's the only thing that makes this process even remotely difficult. Everything else is a piece of cake. But bending these staples inside this very narrow channel is a hard part. So anyway, that's the process. This lip is really an improvement over the original design, because if you take a close look here, you'll see there's actually a little bit of rubber extending over the top here. It's like about 1/8 of an inch of rubber or a 1/16 of an inch of rubber that fits over this metal chrome piece. That was not on the original. The original one did not have that. It just stuck on it, so that this actually seals better than that, because it won't let any water get down in between the rubber piece and the inside of that chrome trim. So I think that was pretty cool. That was a nice upgrade. So anyway, I think these cost about $16 a piece. Well worth it. I couldn't figure out what I was going to do. I certainly didn't want to have water leaking down my windshield. But the next part of the process is going to be to go through and try to see if I can't bend these staples. I wish I could get a better view of that. It's so hard to get light in the right spot sometimes. There you go. You see the staple. There it is. Bend that staple back through. Get some needle nose in there and make that happen. But like I said, we'll see how it goes. But anyway, that's the process. And the reason you do this is, again, this rubber wiper is the primary seal against water coming in from your window going down inside your door. Even though this rubber here looks good, I mean, it's not cracked or broken or anything. This is the original. Again, you can see the shape of it. Even though this shape looks good, this is very hard, extremely hard. And while it did touch the window in some spots, in other spots it didn't. And if you wash your car, if you hit the window with a hose, or if it rains, it's going to go right down that crack, go inside your door, leak into the bottom of the door, and overload and put water inside. Hopefully you have there's little holes in the bottom of the door that drain, but who wants water inside their door? I don't. So hopefully this will minimize that. Then the other problem is you get too much moisture inside the door. It's bad for the door card. The door card is made out of cardboard, and it's protected supposedly from the water by a plastic, a piece of visqueen or plastic that covers it to separate it from the door, inside the door to the cardboard. But I don't really trust it, and those things are essentially not replaceable. You can't find it. Nobody makes even reproductions, not for my year of Datsun anyway, which is 75. I think they make a 77, 78, and I think the 240s, but the 75, 76 door cards are not available. They got something special about where the door lock pokes through or something like that. So, you got to do what you got to do. Anyway, that's that's the new. This is very soft. This rubber here is extremely pliable. So that should do a good job of sealing. Anyway, I'll let you know how the stapler works out. If it doesn't work out, I'm going to use my my needle. Oh, one little tip. I probably ought to mention this too. When you're bending these U-shaped pieces, you may find that in my case, the actual width of the stapler was too narrow to use these pliers effectively. So what you do, I used an old model airplane trick where it's called making a Z bend. Well, in this case, I made a U bend. What you do is you make your first bend, right? Bend it, no problem. Then on the second bend, what you're going to do is, I don't know if I can be able to show this. You can line up the wire inside here, right? It doesn't have to go, you don't have to like completely make a channel. You don't have to like depend on the width of this to determine it. You can actually make a narrower U. You don't have to just bend it. You can bend one side, bend the other side, it'll be 90 degrees out of phase, and then you just rotate it back. That probably makes no sense at all. I'll see if I can't post up a video later if anybody's interested in how you make a staple or U channel smaller than the width of your pliers. Like I said, the model airplane guys are all over it. It's called making a Z bend, and with Z bends you can make the Z any width you want. The only difference, instead of turn it into a Z, you turn it into a U, but you can still make it any width you want. That's what I did to make these staples fit. Anyway, thanks for watching. Later.